The Oracle of Siwah was an immensely interesting point in time during the campaign of Alexander, and one that is still shrouded in mystery. But what exactly led Alexander to this out-of-place oasis, and how did it shape both his life and his death? Alexander's journey to Siwah was both an unusual and extremely challenging one, with the same journey claiming the lives of 50,000 soldiers from the army of Cambyses in 525 BC. But why would Alexander choose to pursue this oasis and the temple of Ammon, which was so far from his campaign, especially following his success in capturing much of the Persian Empire? Well, there are likely a few reasons for this. First, it is likely that Alexander did so for military reasons, whether securing communication lines or to ensure that the region of Chyrenia remained humble. However, it is also likely that he wanted to tap into the enormous wealth of Egypt. But on a more spiritual level, what possessed Alexander to make this journey? And how did he manage to do so through such unforgiving terrain? Well, when addressing his journey to the oasis, divine favor is to thank. According to Plutarch, for Alexander, Zeus opened up the skies, and not only provided his army with water to drink, but compacted the sand, making it easy to trek and breathe. Likewise, when men from his army walked astray, crows led them back on track. But why, if this journey provided no practical advantages, did he choose to make it? In doing so, Alexander was able to relate himself to both Greek and Egyptian divinity, and not just any gods, but the king of the gods in both realms. Likewise, he was able to emulate his ancestors of Hercules and Perseus, and follow his connection as a descendant of Ammon. This is something which both solidified his power and rule, which can be seen within the passage of Plutarch which recalls Alexander's statement, quote, "Then he turned to his empire and asked whether it was the god's will that he should rule over the world." But what exactly led to this, and how did it influence the future of Alexander's legacy? Well, we may not know what was asked by Alexander within the temple, but we do know that upon his arrival, he was greeted with a god's greeting, whether as the son of Zeus or Ammon. However, regardless of which, we can relate this event to Alexander's new divine status as the son of Zeus Ammon, something which directly reflected the way Alexander acted and how he was to be perceived, even past his own lifetime. In conclusion, from Alexander's persistence of having his own men greet him by kneeling and kissing his feet or arms, a custom reserved only for gods, to perhaps his own course of action during his campaigns against Darius, what happened at Siwah was certainly substantial to his legacy and the life of Alexander, and in itself acted to solidify his deification for generations to come. Further, it is something we see recognized even after his death, such as the unique coinage of Lysimachus, which bears the portrait of Alexander with the horn of Zeus Ammon, a sight that may not be so unusual now, but this is due to the influence of the Oracle of Siwah and Alexander's bizarre campaign. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing for future content. If you have any questions or debates, let me know in the comments.